Gundam.tk presents God Gundam. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Robert184 and I'm continuing my look at the parts of the G Gundam and comparing them to the Master Grade, which you can see there. Don't forget to check out the earlier parts and stay tuned for the next part to see this Gundam all put together. The head of the high grade, you'll notice that they just built this neck part right into the white part, so no polycaps or anything as you're used to on some of the older kits, so that's just going to pop on there, and you'll notice that there's just a single white red part there for the chin goatee, and everything else is going to be made out of solid white pieces. But when you put it all together, I have to say that I'm very impressed with the effect of the high grade. The God Gundam has one of the more unique heads in all of Gundam, and I think that they really captured it pretty well, and it looks not too dissimilar from the Master Grade wing, just in the clean, stylized versions that they've been making lately, and that's something I have no complaints about. You're going to have to put in a lot of effort lining it though. I just put some in the Vulcans here, down here. They've got good channels on the front of the face, thin on the side, thick in the middle, and good channels there. It's a little bit hard to get everything just right in there, but that's something you can clean up with a toothpick if you make some mistakes. Put some black lining around there. And the other thing is, you'll notice is that these are child-proofed, so kids don't poke their eyes out. So why a kid would poke his eye out with a high-grade God Gundam is beyond me. But anyway, this is something I wanted to complain about, because Bandai, they put on these extra little things to nerf the ends. But if they put them on, why don't they put them at the back? Because in this case, they actually stuck them off to the side, and it's something I should have filmed before cutting them off. But of course, that's something very easy. You just take your plastic nippers, snip them off, and then shave them off with a model knife. And if you look at them very carefully, you'll see that I didn't do a perfectly balanced job, but the overall effect with them cut off is still much better. So here's the head of the Master Grade, and you'll notice that there's not a lot of details left off. Pretty much all of the channels that they included on the Master Grade head carried through to the High Grade. Pretty much there's just a little bit of lining here around the double cameras, but otherwise I have to say that I sort of like the shape of the High Grade just a little bit more. Now the core lander here is just really cute, and it's very easy to put together, but it feels very solid despite the fact that it still has it has all the features built into it and all the gimmicks that it should. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that when you plug it into the back, you've just got a nice little rotating mechanism there. This part is going to be forward on the God Gundam, and the first thing that I did when putting it together was, as soon as I saw the box, you probably heard me complain too much about that in the earlier parts, but they have these big ugly holes here on these red parts, and when you have it in the core lander, these are supposed to be solid on the top, which means that the God Gundam suffers and has them open. So all I did is when I built them is I just swapped them over, and that's something that if you do that, it's only going to look ugly when you do this, which is probably not going to be very often. Otherwise, I'm happy with the way the seals go on. I do sort of like, they gave us 3 seals here instead of 1. And if they give you 1, you'll guess, of course, that these sides are going to pop up, which is something that happens on older models all the time. So here, you just have to line them up properly, but I do like the effect, and I don't mind at all that they skimped out and didn't give us clear parts or something like that. They also have good mobility here for the wings. You can move these down everywhere, but what happens is, this moves up about this much, but you'll notice that they have their default state where everything fits together very nicely. The Master Grade is not too different except for the fact it feels a little bit looser, but that could just be, of course, because I've had this model put together a little while back. But anyway, otherwise the wings have the same range of mobility halfway down for this one. This one can move in a little bit, and we have gray thrusters similar to the High Grade, and you'll notice that there's a very tiny Domon Kasshu in there who probably just bought some Chinese food and is ready to go fight. The beam sabers are a solid addition. They've got good lining down there. I've noticed that Bandai lately, there's been a lot of kits where they have bad channels on the beam sabers. No problems here in this case. And also this is sort of just a revealed channel that I lined before popping this cap on, because this top part is a separate thing. These parts are also on a round thing, which means that you can rotate the blades around and have either the thick end this way or the opposite way, of course, if you so choose. And they do have different lengths, which I believe was in the anime, so that's something that's pretty cool. Finally, you'll notice a polycap inside here, and I should have mentioned that on the waist skirt, these are attached together. You could cut them if you want and separate them, and you'll notice how the side skirts are attached on, but fans of 00 will recognize this piece, so you're just going to pop that in and then put the legs on, which is going to give us a lot of mobility, especially when you combine it with the fact that the legs have this rotating part up at the top. Get a Ziploc ready as soon as you start building this kit, because you're going to have a lot of extra fists and manipulators that you can lose. So anyway, the Godfinger looks pretty good, and it's actually 2 pieces here. You'll just pop that part on, and it looks very solid. And on the other hand, you're going to get these extra fists. You're going to get these ones in gray, which are the closed fists, and then you're just going to get a variation that you can put the beam sabers into, and good channels for lining, so I have no complaints about these whatsoever. These fists came on an extra plate, and they're sort of cool the way you put them together. You'll notice that they do have a separate piece, and this is just regular plastic, and you're just going to slide that in and lock it into place. Lots of good deep channels there, so you'll have no problems getting them lined up, and you can have the God Gundam in some pretty unique poses compared to most other high-grade Gundams. So that's a wrap on all the parts, and I have to say that I'm very impressed with this in terms of a high grade, but you'd probably notice that there's quite a few ways in that it does not stack up as well as the master grade. But then again, should we expect that, or are we, am I asking for too much in a high grade? But then again, when you compare the prices, maybe we're not asking too much. So anyway, stay tuned for the next part, and let's see this put together. And once it's put together, of course, I'll compare that to the master grade, and then stay tuned for my final verdict about which one you should buy. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit like and let me know with a comment what you think about the video or the model itself. I always look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching, everybody. God Gundam's shining gold SD counterpart.